The year was 1879, New Year's Eve. While the rest of the world partied, Carl Benz was in his workshop, changing the world. Forget boring old steam engines, Benz had a better idea, a gasoline-powered two-stroke engine. This was a game changer. Imagine the scene oil lamps flicker, casting long shadows across the workshop. The air is thick with the smell of grease and anticipation. Sparks fly as Benz puts the finishing touches on his creation. He pulls a lever. The engine sputters, coughs, then bursts into life. This wasn't just any engine, this was the heart of a revolution, an engine so simple, so efficient it would change transportation forever. Little did Benz know he'd just given birth to the automobile industry. It wasn't perfect, not yet, but it worked, and that's all that mattered. This New Year's Eve, Carl Benz didn't just see in a new year, he saw in a new era. Word got around fast. People wanted Benz's engine. It was reliable, powerful and easy to use, perfect for all sorts of things. Factories, workshops, even boats. The money started rolling in, not rivers of cash, mind you, but enough. Enough for Benz to chase his real dream. The one that kept him up at night, sketching and tinkering away. He didn't just want to power machines, he wanted to power movement. He wanted to build a car. His engine was the key. Lightweight and efficient. It could power something small, something personal, something that could move people, not just machinery. The thought consumed him. With every engine sold, Benz got closer. Every sale brought in the funds, the momentum to build his dream machine. 1885. The year dreams became reality. Benz had been working tirelessly. His vision was clear, a self-propelled vehicle for the masses, not a carriage with an engine bolted on, a proper motor car. The result, a masterpiece of engineering ingenuity. A three-wheeled contraption, light and surprisingly elegant. The frame, made of steel tubing, was strong yet lightweight. At its heart, of course, was his trusty gasoline engine. But Benz didn't stop there. He incorporated groundbreaking innovations. A differential to allow the rear wheels to rotate at different speeds when cornering, a simple yet effective braking system, and a revolutionary steering system using a toothed rack that controlled the direction of the front wheel. This wasn't just a motorized carriage, this was a car. January 29, 1886, a date forever etched in automotive history. Carl Benz filed a patent for his three-wheeled motor car. He called it the Benz Patent Motor Wagon. Catchy, right? But the real test came in July. Benz decided to take his creation for a spin, not on some private track, oh no. He took it right through the streets of Mannheim, Germany. Imagine the scene. Horses rearing, people gawking, jaws hitting the cobblestones. This strange noisy contraption chugging along, smoke billowing from its engine. This wasn't just a drive, it was a spectacle. The world had never seen anything like it. Little did those onlookers know they were witnessing the birth of a revolution. The automobile age had arrived. Section 5, Bertha's Big Adventure, a drive for the history books. Now, every good story needs a heroine. Meet Bertha Benz, Carl's wife, and more importantly, his biggest supporter. She knew her husband had created something special, but the world was skeptical. They needed convincing. August 1888, Bertha took matters into her own hands. She hopped into Carl's latest four-wheeled motor car and set off on a 100-kilometer journey without telling Carl, might I add. With their two teenage sons in tow, they embarked on a trip that would become legendary. This was no Sunday drive. Roads back then were, shall we say, less than ideal. More like dirt tracks, really. But Bertha persevered. She fixed mechanical issues with a hairpin, used her hat pin to clean a fuel line, and even convinced a local shoemaker to line the brake shoes with leather. Her journey was a triumph. It proved that automobiles were more than just a novelty. They were a viable means of transportation. Bertha Benz didn't just drive a car, she drove the world into the automobile age. Section 6, Steering Innovation, the double pivot steering system and beyond. Carl Benz was never one to rest on his laurels. He was constantly tinkering, improving, innovating. One of his most significant contributions was the double pivot steering system. Before this, cars were steered with a tiller or a simple pivot system, making them difficult to maneuver. Benz's invention allowed for more precise control, making driving easier and safer. It's still the basis for steering systems in most cars today. But that's not all. Benz also developed the twin engine, a two-cylinder unit that provided more power for larger vehicles. And let's not forget the contra engine, a horizontally opposed engine that offered a lower center of gravity for better handling. Carl Benz was a true pioneer of automotive engineering. He didn't just invent the car, he constantly sought to improve it, to make it more reliable, more powerful, and more accessible to everyone. Section 7 Power Up, the twin engine and contra engine. As demand for his cars grew, Benz knew he needed more power. His solution? The twin engine. As the name suggests, it had two cylinders, double the power, simple but effective. This new engine allowed him to build bigger, faster cars, cars for families, for long distances, cars that could tackle the increasingly demanding needs of a world quickly embracing the automobile. But Benz wasn't done. He was also experimenting with different engine layouts. This led him to the contra engine. It was a horizontally opposed engine, meaning the cylinders were placed on opposite sides of the crankshaft. This created a lower center of gravity, improving handling and stability. The twin engine and contra engine were just two examples of Benz's relentless pursuit of innovation. He was always looking for ways to make his cars better, faster, and more efficient. Section 8. The legacy of Carl Benz, a revolution on wheels. Carl Benz wasn't just an inventor, he was a revolutionary. He didn't just build a machine, he built an industry. His invention, the automobile, changed the world in ways he could never have imagined. From cobblestone streets to superhighways, the car has transformed our lives. It's given us freedom, connected communities, and shrunk the world. And it all started with a man in his workshop, driven by a vision. Benz's legacy lives on not just in the cars that bear his name, but in every car on the road. Every time we turn a key, press a pedal, or feel the wind in our hair as we drive, we owe a debt of gratitude to Carl Benz. His story is a reminder that one person, with enough determination and a bit of ingenuity, can change the world. Section 9, the enduring impact shaping the modern world. It's hard to overstate the impact of Benz's invention. The automobile didn't just change the way we travel, it reshaped our cities, our economies, and our very way of life. Before the car, cities were crowded, smelly places. People lived close to where they worked. The car allowed cities to sprawl, creating suburbs and commuting. It fueled the growth of industries like steel, oil, and rubber. The car also brought about profound social change. It gave people a sense of freedom and mobility they'd never experienced before. It broke down barriers between communities and opened up new possibilities for travel and leisure. Benz's invention wasn't just about building a machine, it was about building a new world. A world where distance was no longer a barrier and the open road beckoned with adventure. Section 10. A look back in wonder from humble beginnings to global domination. It's astonishing to think that the global automotive industry, with its millions of cars and countless innovations, all stem from the work of one man. From a small workshop in Germany to a global phenomenon, the story of the automobile is one of remarkable progress. Today, we have cars that can drive themselves, cars that run on electricity, cars that can fly. But at the heart of it all, the basic principles remain the same. An engine, a transmission, a chassis, and wheels. Carl Benz's legacy is not just in the cars themselves, but in the spirit of innovation they represent. His story continues to inspire engineers and inventors to push the boundaries of what's possible. Section 11. The future of mobility, Benz's vision lives on. Even as we stand on the cusp of a new era of mobility with electric vehicles, autonomous driving, and flying cars on the horizon, the fundamental principles that Carl Benz pioneered remain as relevant as ever. The quest for efficiency, for speed, for convenience, for a better way to move people and goods. These are the driving forces that continue to shape the automotive industry today. Carl Benz didn't just invent the automobile, he ignited a passion for mobility that continues to burn bright. His vision of a world where transportation is seamlessly integrated into our lives, where distances are effortlessly conquered and where the open road continues to beckon. That vision remains as compelling and as relevant as ever.